Multi-step story problems. Your learning target today is I can practice two-step story problems by adding and subtracting. And you'll know you're successful today when you can sketch out your problem and work it out by using numbers to show step 1 and step 2. Our vocabulary words today are justify and justify. That means I'm going to prove something. And today I'm going to try to prove my answer. And reasoning. That means I'm going to be explaining my answer with details. So in order to justify or prove something, I need to add reasoning to that. And so I need to prove my answer or justify, and I need to reason or explain why to prove my answer. Another day of practicing multi-step word problems or story problems. Remember, they mean the same thing. So more practice, because this is a very tough thing for a lot of us. And the more we practice, the better we will get. Okay, let's do this one together. So our problem today is the school had 542 kids last year. At the end of the year, 43 kids moved away. And this year, the school got 22 new kids. How many kids are at the school now? So remember, my 3 very important numbers I have to do. How many steps? 2. Okay, 2 more steps to find out our final answer, right? So for step 1, I'm going to sketch. Step 2, where we have 2 steps of work right here, then we will do that next. So I'm going to draw my picture first, and then we'll work out the problem together. I drew my first picture, which was 542 kids. Okay, so I did that by 500s, 4 10s, 2 1s. And I need to remember that now that I have to look at my next step, 43 kids moved away. That's how many I have to take away or subtract, because now they're gone. So I can see I can take away 42 kids, but I'm going to have to do some regrouping in order to take away that last kid, okay? So in order to do that, I'm going to have to turn in one of my 10s into 10 1s. But then when I do that, I'm not going to have enough 10s anymore. So then I'm going to have to regroup one of my 100s into 10 10s so that I can make sure I can take away enough people. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay, so first I took away a 10 and made it 10 1s, but then I only had 3 10s left. So I had to take away 100 and make 10 10s so that I can take away how many? 43. So let's take away 43 kids. I know I can take away 30 plus 1 more makes 40, and then 3. 2 and 1 more is 3. Okay, so that was step 1 for our drawing part. And then remember, the school got 22 new kids, so I just have to add 2 more 10s and 2 more 1s to make that. Next, I'm going to do the work. Remember, with our work, we have step 1, step 2 with our numbers. So how many did we start off with? The school started off last year with 542 kids. So that's the number we need to start off step 1 with, okay? 542. And then at the end of the year, 43 kids moved away. So I'm just rereading this story problem, and I'm going to do that. 43 kids moved away. We need to minus 43 because remember, they're gone. And then we can do our subtracting. So let's look at our ones place. Do we have more on the top or more on the floor? We have more on the floor. So we have to go next door and get some more. So I'm going to cross off my 4 in my tens place. And now that I'm going to take a 10 away from there, it's a 3. And our 2 becomes a 12. 12 minus 3. is what? Well, 12 minus 2 is 10. Minus 1 more is 9. And then, look at the tens place. Is there more on top or more on the floor? There's more on the floor. So I have to go next door and get some more. And since I took 1 away from the 5, that becomes a 4. 3 turns into a 13. So I hope you're noticing so far that's kind of what we did, right? We took away 100 over here, and we had 400s left. We also had to take away 10s and turn them into 1s. So that's kind of like what we did down in the picture, and now we're doing that in the algorithm. It all makes sense. It all is coming together. So now there's more on top, so there's no need to stop. 13 minus 4, again, is 9. And 4 minus 0 is 4. So far we have 499. Let's look at our third sentence. This year, the school got 22 new kids. So 22 new kids means, am I going to add those kids or am I going to subtract? If I got new kids, we add. Okay, so from 499, we have to add 22. And again, does it matter when we add if there's more on top or more on the floor? No, does not matter. So I should not be regrouping anymore because I'm adding. Okay, 9 plus 2 is 11. 9 plus 2 plus 1, more, because it's on top. So 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 2 is 12. And then we have 1 plus 4. That's 5. So what is our grand total? How many kids are at the school now? 521. So what's our number sentence? Again, let's look at all 3 of those numbers that we started with in our problem and make a number sentence with our answer and then a statement. So we have 542. That's the first number I need to start off with. Well, what did we do next? At the end of the year, 43 kids moved away, minus 43. This year, the school got 22 new kids, plus 22. 542 minus 43 plus 22 equals, what did we get again? 521. So what was our statement? Statement's our answer, which I remember we just said was 521. And then what's our label? If I need help figuring out my label, just read the last sentence in that story problem. How many kids are at the school now? 521 kids. Kids is our label. Our statement is 521 kids. All right, it's time to justify with reasoning, or that means to prove and explain why I got my answer. So by doing that, I will use words to explain my math. And this is what I would say in my sentence if I wrote it with words or if I explained it out loud. The answer is 521 kids because last year the school had 542 kids, but 43 moved away, meaning I had to subtract 43 from 542. Next, 22 new kids came to the school, so I had to add 22 to 542, and 542 minus 43 equals 499. Then 499 plus 22 is 521. This proves that there are now 521 kids at the school. So I pretty much used that information from my problem and I put it into my sentence with the math that I already did. So we just explained everything we did, but with words and in words that explain and prove my answer. So our last problem for today is this problem. There were 88 bees on the hive. 32 flew away. 65 flew back to the hive. how many bees are in the hive now? So right now is a great time to pause the video, try this problem out on your own or with your class, and then resume the video when you're ready to check your answer. So I started to draw my picture, and I kind of got ahead of myself. I got a little too excited thinking that there were hundreds, and are there any hundreds in this problem? Actually, no. So I had to cross it off and do my tens. So far I have 88 bees on the hive. And remember, for step 2 we have to take away. So I'm going to take away 32 of them. And then I'm going to have to add 65 after that by drawing 65 in our tens and our ones. So I will do that part, and then we'll check your work with the picture. The rest of it, I took away 32 because that's how many flew away, and then I added 65 by drawing more because they flew back. So let's do our problem, step 1 and step 2. I want you to check your work with mine. Remember, how many bees did we start off with? 88. We have to subtract 32 because that's how many flew away. So for step 1, you should have 88 minus 32. And we'll just subtract. 8 minus 2 is 6. And then 8 minus 3 is 5. So for step 1, you should have 56. Okay? That's how many bees are there so far. But let's look at sentence number 3. 65 flew back to the hive. Okay, 65 flew back. So what's step 2? 56 plus 65. That is step 2. And again, we are going to add, okay? I'm noticing that we had some subtraction over here, but we had more on top, so there was no need to stop. We didn't have to do any regrouping this time. But with adding, does it matter if there's more on top or more on the floor? No. 6 plus 5 is 11. And then we have 1 plus 5 plus 6. Well, we already knew 6 plus 5 is 11. Plus 1 more, 12. So how many bees are at the hive now? 121. So what was our final number sentence? We're using all 3 of those numbers from the problem. So our final number sentence is 88 minus 32, because remember those ones flew away, plus 65. And what was our final answer? 121. So I'm going to write my statement at the top of my paper today because I don't have enough room on the bottom. What was our statement? Can somebody remind me, I hope, what does a statement mean? Our statement is our answer with the label, okay? So what was our answer? 121. That's part of it. And then what's our label? What did we talk about in our problem today? Bees. So 121 bees, okay? So now our number means something, okay? 121 what? Bees. That's what we had to figure out today. So, nice job if you were able to do that. And if not, that's okay. We're going to keep practicing this throughout the weeks, and we're going to make sure we are going to get it. You can always pause the video, rewind if you're not sure, because maybe you'll understand it the second time. Learning target today is I can practice 2-step story problems by adding and subtracting. And you'll know you're successful today when you can sketch out your problem and work it out by using numbers to show step 1 and step 2.